Hi guys, Elle here. Today I'm going to give you the grand tour of the new mega altar. I only call it a mega altar because my last altar was so teensy tiny. Alright, let's jump right in. Okay, there we go. So just because of the shape of my room, it's hard to get a full view of the altar here. So I'm standing at the other side of the room just so you can sort of see the massiveness and awesomeness that is mega altar. So you can see right here, actually, that table down there, that big long table, is actually like an entertainment center. It's our old TV stand. And when I realized we weren't going to use it in the new place here, I was like, oh, that's my new altar. It's such a great size. And I like that it's low. That's something that I knew I wanted again, because that's how I use my altar. I mostly sit at it. But building up, as we've done here, I also have a lot more storage and can even like stand at it and do stuff. But mostly I sit down here. Let me show you guys. See that right there? That is my meditation cushion. I'll take him out and sit at the altar like this. You can't see me, but I'm sitting on it. I have another big cushion that sometimes I put underneath for sitting at. Actually, it'll look like this. And there it is. That's what the setup looks like for basically whenever I'm doing anything at the altar. At least always I'm just sitting on the red cushion right here that I love. It's one of those, who makes this? Like a cheaper version of some of the cushions you can buy. Peace Yoga it is. Great little cushion. Very comfy. Okay, so I have my butt on the meditation cushion right now and I am sitting at my altar. This is what is right in front of me at eye level. It is the perfect height, this table here. And I have this great space up here for doing daily draws or spell work or magic, whatever it may be. That's definitely probably the most used little area of my altar. This is the candle that I light when I'm meditating in the morning, and incense charcoal burner, whatever back there too. I like to have some things, sort of mandalas to look at during meditation also, if we're not just focusing on a candle or whatever. This candle right here that I showed you guys that when I bought it, and I love it for meditation. It's a great alchemical sort of image to sit with. And that's my drum back there that I've showed you guys that also, but I drew all over it a little sort of Norse magic mandala. We got Sleipnir and a raven and the runes and Yggdrasil and all sorts of symbols all over it. Even just this spiral shell right here is fantastic. If I come up a bit, you guys can see that the candle is being charged by a circle of a runic power. And I have a little seated Buddha right there too. Love him. I don't know if you can see the top of that actually. Can you see that little burn hole up there? That's not a recent thing. I did that a long time ago. But from this, something like this, I had a candle burning in there and it almost burnt my house down. So I know better than to do that now. When I am using this candle, I pull it out and it just sits out on the table here when it's burning. And all the cards that you guys see out in the little card stands here are from today's readings and today's draws and stuff. This is the central card from my tarot reading this morning, the sun card from my own personal tarot deck, and then over here some oracle cards. I pulled this one. I love this card, Explore Other Realms, it says. And I pulled a card from my Power of Runes deck also, and that's the Uruz card. This one's from which one's it from? Art Through the Eyes of the Soul deck. And then actually that deck sitting right there that has become a permanent staple on my altar now. I love having him out here, is my Pablo Robledo Marseille. Such a beautiful old looking deck, even though he only did it in 2011. Behind this guy here, this is my prayer book. I showed you guys this in my last video. Very handy, easy to get to. And then over here, actually, I have a couple more books. This one is for recording tarot readings, my own personal ones, and this one is my rune journal. This is my, I've showed you guys this before too, my tarot divination mojo bag for reading. I keep him over here. And then over here in these wicker baskets, I keep tarot decks that I am currently working with, using myself. I mean, there's a ton in here. You can see the front charm on the bag of my Marielle tarot poking through. Love that guy. And up here, just more tarot decks. And there's my tarot, the Holy Light, Vikings tarot. Yay! And then up here on this shelf, I have a box. This actually came with the tarot deck, but I love the box so much I wanted to use it for other fun stuff. So I have some handy stuff in here. I keep a lighter, always handy in here. Is that? Oh yeah, I forgot to put that down there. That's a card on the bottom from the extra card from the Thoth deck. This is my pendulum that I showed you guys in the last video. I have some incense matches, some regular matches, and a granite worry stone. I love this guy, actually. I love the fact that it's gray. It reminds me of the old man. And also of his eye, and it's very cooling and very grounding. I like to sit with that guy. And then that is a lovely little Ikea light. That is good. I need, it can be such a dark corner, so I actually have some real lamps over here, not just candles, so I can see what I'm doing. Because this really is a working space. I do a lot of stuff sitting at this altar. It's great. One of my favorite statues back there, I think it's supposed to be a Peruvian shaman. And it isn't something that, I always had on my altar or anything, but I really, really like bringing these shamanic statues over here. They just, what's the purpose really of decorating your altar? It's to be reminded of things you want to be reminded of, right? Reminded of that connection and who you want to be and what you're striving towards. And yeah, that's why I like those guys there. And then up here is, okay, what's in here? This is like a little offering dish also, but not the same as, this is a true offering dish to Freya. I just put a bunch of stuff in there today for her. This is, I don't know, maybe it's just a bowl that I throw shit in, really, of stuff that's special to me at the moment. I have my Flower of Life pocket watch. I have my Thor's hammer up here, actually. I've been using this a lot for hallowing, just keep it on the necklace. A little piece of hematite. I have some datura flowers that I'm going to dry out on top of some coral. And that's actually an Isis statue in front of a beautiful, the light is so in the way. Nope, there we go. I don't know if you can see her. It's from a greeting card, and it's Freya to me. It is Freya. She's riding a horse, and she's engulfed in these yellow hot flames. It's a beautiful image. I guess, I don't know, you might think it's weird that as a Norse pagan, a self-identified eclectic Norse pagan, to have some images of other deities and things up here. But I have that history like a lot of us have. I was obsessed with every strong female goddess sort of from every culture when I was growing up at one time or another. And I thought, this is going to be my goddess. This is her. This is how she expresses herself to me and the form she takes. Eventually I discovered the Norse, and that was it for me. But there was definitely a Greco-Roman period, a Celtic period, a very big Egyptian period too. And if you watch my other videos, I think they're all one and the same anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I love this Queen of Heaven with her. She reminds me of Freya even, right? She's got a falcon cloak. So she's up there. And then, like I said, this is where I dry my herbs. I need a bigger spot. I might have to put some rope in some other places, but that's really all it is. It's just some twine I have tied up, and then I use all sorts of different things to, hang the flowers from. What's up here right now? I have all sorts of stuff. That was some red clover drying down there, and some datura flowers, some more clover, some wild lettuce, some thistle, some sow thistle, all sorts of stuff. Is my TV on? Oh my god, totally is. Look, I'm watching Doctor Who. Ha ha ha. And oh, it's hard to see up here, but this is the top shelf, and this is really just for show. I think it's pretty. It's like this tree, petrified wood kind of thing, and I have a spiral seashell on it. I love me some sacred geometry, and seashells are beautiful expressions of spirals. I love it. In that little bowl back here, that is a rose of Jericho. It's like a resurrection plant. When it's out of water, it sort of shrivels up, but it is still alive because when you put it back in water, it flowers and opens. Beautiful. And then actually over here, it might be kind of hard to see, but behind the TV set, I actually utilize that space a little bit too. I have a little basket back there with some altar-related items and some more flowers and things over here just to decorate. And then that beautiful statue up there of like this dancing, flute-playing goddess. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be somebody specific, but she was a gift and I just adore her. She's gorgeous. And then what is up here? These are sprigs of chicory, actually, that I put there yesterday because I was doing some spell work at the altar. And sprigs of fresh chicory are, there's lots of different things you can use chicory for. But putting sprigs on the altar when you are doing spell work is said to help get the attention of the spirits, grab the attention of the gods. So over here is a image of Balder. Ooh. Can you see him? It's an image of Balder on the funeral pyre, actually. Some more dried plants, and then this gorgeous sculpture thing that I've had forever is another kind of drumming shaman that I really enjoy. And then down here, this has become the final resting place of my ritual drinking horn. It can be really tricky. I always had this problem before too. If you have a horn, it's an awkward thing to sort of find a place for on your altar. So he's very well balanced here, up out of the way, so it's not just sitting down there. But you needed, or I needed easy access to it because I use it all the time. It's the one I actually drink out of. All right, so this is the Odin Zone. Let me put the camera down. Okay, so this is my little Odin section. Light a candle for Odin. And what do we got here? Okay, this is obviously a picture of Odin that I really like. I also have a lot of sort of feathers around here. These are, well, they're representative of like raven crow feathers. They're really dyed goose feathers. I just got them for my Missy costume, so I thought I'd use them up here. But I also have some peacock feathers. Peacock feathers are very special to me. You know, they have all this alchemical significance, transformation and all that. I even actually have some more feathers up here. I like to give Odin feathers. I don't know what it is. But I found these gorgeous feathers this morning. Can you see them? They're like, I think they're blue jay feathers. They're beautiful. I have my athame I keep up here, and I even have a couple tarot cards up here. This is from the Oswald Worth, and it's the Hermit, and then this is an extra magician card that I got with the Victoria Regina, and I like that for Odin right now too. I have one of my sort of rune chakra stones, part of that set that I showed you guys when I did the little runic chakra healing. But that has a bind rune on it. That's very special to me and very special to the Allfather. This is a little storage place or offering place also for Odin. Oh my god, don't burn the tarot cards. And I don't know how to let you guys see this. It's just a little sort of concoction of you can't see it, some herbs and some stones and things like that right now as an offering for Odin. And then I have my beautiful Odin statue with his one amber eye and a little piece of flintstone here. I found this on Etsy not too long ago. I know I made a video when I first got it because I was so friggin' excited. And I love that it has like a nice prominent place on my altar now. Oh, it's just so special. I even love that this is a piece of flint. In Norse lore, you could say. Flintstone it's what gets. There's a whole story, right? When Thor battles Hrungnir, it's a piece of flint that's said to be shoved into Thor's forehead, like stuck in his head, lodged in there from the battle, and it stays there until the end, until Ragnarok. Anyway, that's cool. Okay, moving on over here. This is Freya's section. I hung that picture. Isn't that beautiful? I love that image. That's another place for storage under here. It's like an old cigar box, and I just keep mostly extra candles, like bigger candles in there. That I don't need access to super easily, although it's pretty easy to get to. There's like 4 things sitting on top of it pretty much. And one of them is this beautiful Freya statue. The detail on these sculptures, these statues is amazing. There's runes all on the bottom. You see that carved there? She's got her beautiful falcon cloak and her cat by her side. And she's in like serious warrior garb. Oh, I just adore the statue. I have a few pieces of amber that I keep at her feet. And then this is her offering dish. You have all sorts of fun stuff in there. There's a giant piece of amethyst right now. My bird Artemis shed a gorgeous tail feather for Lady Freya this morning. Different shells and stones and things that just remind me of her. That's mainly Freya's special spot, but pretty much everything up here is all about Freya and Odin. Like, while I do work with, you could say, the entire Norse pantheon, like they all hold places. That's my pagan world, you know. Freya and Odin for sure hold special places in my heart and in how I think of them. And it's not even necessarily like the god, the goddess kind of thing. I think each of them have guises where they are, you know, like that big and omnipresent, but they're just 2 deities that I work closely with and appreciate. And then behind Lady Freya here, I have a couple big pieces of tree, basically, with the bark and everything. I don't know where I scooped them up, but I like to bring a little bit of the outside in, you know? I use them as little pedestals, basically. Up here is where I keep my smudge on top of a little dish so we don't make a mess and so we don't burn anything. Like if it still has embers, I can put it down in here and it's okay. And then next to it this is actually an incense burner, and I will burn incense in there sometimes. There's little holes there. You could burn cone incense, whatever, on top of this thing. But it's sort of acting as a receptacle for my little crystal set of platonic solids, or the 5 platonic solids, plus a double tetrahedron and a sphere. Actually, behind Freya is another little smudging tool. I have open a little fan that I keep back there for fanning the smoke. Some of you might remember I had actually created a smudge wand out of Artemis's bird feathers a while back, but unfortunately in the move it done fell apart. Alright, moving on. I've made some changes since I last showed you guys this in my little update video, mostly just kind of hanging pictures. My Alex Gray, love that image. That's one of my favorite paintings of all time. I think I need to put like one more picture up there. I'm not sure what I'm going to put up there yet, but we'll figure it out. I think that this is going to be the kind of altar for me that does change from time to time, maybe even seasonally. I've never been one to do that with my sacred space, with my altars. But I already sort of see it happening, you know, all the herbs and the flowers, and I have a place to present them and put them out and use them, and that'll certainly change seasonally. I don't know, we'll see. This is the Apothecary section. This is another statue that wasn't really ever an altar statue, but I really love having her here. It brings this energy in that I'm really like right now. I don't know if she's supposed to be someone specific, but she reminds me of like a Persephone type of thing. There's something very sweet and feminine about her, and I like having that energy over here right now. It works, especially in my sort of kitchen witchery section. So back there, actually I'm not going to go too crazy. It's mostly just dried flowers and potpourris and things like that I've concocted. There's some extracts that I've done. I try to do all my own extractions and things like that. I even have a sage spray that I made. It's not just sage, but all sorts of cool stuff. And then back there in the corner, I have a lovely soapstone incense burner that is currently burning some sandalwood incense that smells lovely. And then in front of it, I've been keeping a vase full of some fun flowers and things. This is one I've really become obsessed with recently. It's called flat sedge or nut sedge. It grows all over the place. By me here. It just has such a unique look to it. Like, these are sort of the flowering part of it, and they're just crazy looking. Like, it's kind of the ugliest thing I've ever seen, and yet really hardy and beautiful and earthy, and yeah, it's fun. Behind it there, though, on top of that other little shelf, I have a dancing Shiva and my Labrys, like a very Amazonian-like symbol. Moon cults, warrior woman shit. And then down here, this is a little oil burner, basically. I actually right now I do have some oil in there, but it's also like melting wax. It's beautiful, has a nice scent to it. And then this is a little dish that I just keep some fun things in. Some crystals, another tetrahedron, and a little scarab back there, some rose quartz, all sorts of cool stuff. And this amazing, again, spiral seashell. I just love having those on display. You know, oh, it's always nice to be reminded of the eternal return, you could say. So all this stuff is stuff that I never kept on my altar before. Necessity sort of dictated this. I didn't have as much room in the kitchen here, so I brought all my witchy herbs up to my altar and used this little bookshelf to store everything, and so far so good. I'm just cheap, I guess, and I just always label everything with masking tape. I can't really recommend doing this because if it gets wet, it comes like right off, so sometimes it's messy. But these were all redone recently. I just did the labels again because when I moved a little over a month ago now, things were just a mess. It was great to go through and clean house and get rid of old herbs that were just bad and just reorganize everything. If you do have an apothecary or whatever like this, or you're thinking about, you know, starting one or setting one up, the way that I went about it, I think it was pretty smart. It was pretty good. I very rarely bought, I bought a few jars, but most of them are like jars from like pickles and spaghetti sauce. And or that other herbs came in, and I just saved all the glass jars that had a decent seal to them. Like that, and all these bottles over here are all like Starbucks drinks cleaned out, and they make great containers. If they had crazy colored lids, like some of them I leave natural if it doesn't bother me, but a lot of the ones that you see black here are all, I just spray painted them. You know, if it had like a bright blue Vlasic pickles label on it, or like a ragu spaghetti sauce, you know, whatever, I just wait till I have enough jars and take them outside and spray paint the tops, and it works. You know, here's one that I didn't paint. Can you see that? But it's gold. It don't bother me. I'll do it at some point. But here, let me zoom in. You guys can get an idea of what kind of stuff is in here. I'm a huge fan of Mugwort. Its benefits and its uses are just boundless, and especially for journeying and astral projection. is mostly what I use it for, but it also helps with my period pains. Like, this shit is amazing. It's wonderful. I know that I've said it before, actually, that like I'm not much of a kitchen witch. You know, I don't really make like I said, I don't have a cauldron. Like, I don't make potions for magic. I mean, I'll use herbs here and there for different things. So you might think it's sort of weird that I have this, I guess, rather large collection of herbs, but mainly what I use them for is basically for two general things. One, to treat, you know, to medicinally treat certain issues that mostly me and my wife have. You know, I have some breathing issues, and my wife has, she's yell at me for saying this, but like, you know, insomnia and anxiety and things like that. So a lot of the herbs here, I'll make different things out of, mostly teas and drinks and things, to treat both of our issues. And it's been incredibly helpful. The effects of what I've discovered through all this is the health benefits have been amazing. And the secondary thing that I use a lot of herbs for is more of a magical thing, but it's to help in astral projection, to help in journeying. So you may have noticed actually that what I have up here, like Mandrake and Datura and Belladonna, I think it might be done actually, but I started gathering up all the herbs that I'm going to need to create some flying ointment again. I just used up the last of it before I moved, so it is time I end up making a new batch every, probably been about 3 years now since I made it. You know what? I should totally film a video. Okay, hold up. I'm going to stop myself for a second. I am going to make another video for you guys when I make the flying ointment and talk about it more then, which will be very soon. I'll show you guys how I do it anyway. And I'll also even just make another like apothecary video and like kind of go through all this stuff in a bit more detail. If I try to do it all now, this video is going to take forever. And I find myself really wanting to talk about all this stuff, especially the herbs that I use for like to aid in astral projection and journeying, out of body experiences and all that stuff. It's really, really fun. That is my vaporizer, by the way. Mugwort is one of the things that I smoke or vape, really, in there. A little mugwort before sleep. Very relaxing, but also helps with remembering your dreams and having vivid dreams. And if I were to vape a bit more, it really does help with astral projection. And then the other thing up here is we have an incense holder. Got incense in there. Down on this bottom shelf, actually, there's some essential oils and some little stones. You can see this? I love these little jars. Teensy tiny little stones. So if you want to put them into a mixture or something, you get that little stone chips, you know, which is great. It's a little grapeseed oil I made. Dragon's blood incense. This is my little portable altar that I made with my little mini deck in there. And some good Aveda oils too. This is my Ganesha statue. Isn't he beautiful? Oh, he's gorgeous. There's a little mouse, little rodent at his feet. But yeah, this is another statue that it was never really on my altar before, but I like having him here. He was always displayed like prominently in my living room in my house by my front door before. And I couldn't bear to not have him with me. I love his myths and his stories and all that he represents. So yeah, that's good to have there. And then at his feet here, I also have a salt lamp that is on right now. And then this right here, this is one of the best things that I own, and in the place that it's in, it's also fantastic. I'm not talking about this candle, by the way, but the candle warmer, or cup warmer, coffee, tea warmer, and I actually totally use it for both. Like, actually, if you have a candle that has a teeny little bit of wax left in it, like this one does, it's a great way to utilize the very last little bits of the candle, which is what it's doing now. However, this is the other reason that I love having this thing where it is, because of where it is. When I come down in the morning, I grab my meditation cushion, I sit here. It's always after I've gotten a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in the morning, and it won't go cold while I'm working, while I'm meditating. it's nice to have a warm cup of whatever for right when I finish. It's fantastic. It was something that used to always, it's so silly, but it's something that used to always bother me. I would always come to my sitting practice with like half a cup of coffee or whatever still, and put it down to the side somewhere, and then when I was done I'd have to get up and like heat up my coffee and come back and finish doing what I was doing. No longer an issue. Problem solved. And then, like I said, this isn't always here, but I have some plantain parts on top of some oak leaves for some reason right now. Okay, so the candle's back, and lastly up here, I'm gonna move my little portable apothecary section. But what is in this box is just some extra storage space. I have a rune set in here. I have some playing card decks. My plastic Vikings TV show horn. These are CDs, music. If I need drumming music or whatever, I actually still use CDs for that. A little CD player over here. I have some more rune sets in here. And this is some more crystals. And that's it. It's not something I go into very often, but it's handy. Alright, so moving on to the fun stuff down here now. A little section that I have. Most of down here behind this stuff is storage. But I made this nice little like meditation zone here. I have my tingsas, my Tibetan chimes, tuned to the key of Om. And I have some framed images here too. We have Odin image and another Odin image here. I love that one. There's something so, I don't know, haunting about that. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but it's a giant yew tree, a giant ancient yew tree, and you can just see the shadow of a man hanging from the tree, just like Odin hanging from the world tree. And then this picture over here, it's hard to see, is a little collage that I made and framed of all different Norse deities. There's a Valkyrie, there's a parade of the gods walking across the Rainbow Bridge. Back here is Saga serving mead to Odin, and over here is an image of Thor. And then I have a lovely rosewood Buddha statue, and I keep a little tea light candle in front of him. And then right over here is I put all my prayer beads, all my malas into a little vase so I can really easy access to them. This is my Runic Mama that I made, and I use this like almost every day, so it's great to have it so handy and a place to put it away, and it works really well. Next to it over here, I have the Book of Shadows. Do you guys see this, by the way? Oh my god, look at that. My bird took a bite out of it. Oh, so mad at her. But the Book of Shadows, I have a video up of what it looked like when it first got started. I've done, I moved in between, so there's not as much done to it as I would have liked, but I've done a lot more in there. I'll show you guys that real soon. And this here, of course, is, I showed you guys this last time, but this is my copy of the Masks of Odin. But yeah, it's like my Bible. I keep this pretty cover on it, and it has some of my favorite translations from the Poetic Edda. Oh, look, I have a little picture of Loki as a bookmark. It's got this beautiful Norse knotwork like burnt into the leather. It's an absolutely gorgeous cover. And what is next to my books here is this basket. This is the two oracle decks that I use all the time, the Art Through the Eyes of the Stole and Art Through the Starstream, those two decks. And then this one is my Power of Runes deck. And that pretty little bag. And then the big thing that I keep in here is my shawl. Mostly I use it for when I'm meditating, when I get a little chilly. You can see the knotwork on it. Isn't it beautiful? But it's also just something I like to wear. It's almost like my version of a robe for magic. When I put it on, it means it's a sacred space kind of thing. Yeah, it's very special to me. And then actually I have some extra candles shoved down there. And also this is something I'll pull out. It's like just a bigger version. It's a book stand or card stand or whatever, like I use for my tarot cards. This one is actually for holding open my prayer book. And it looks like that when it's all set up. So I can sit and read without having to hold it open and recite things. Okay, so behind the basket, behind the books, all still pretty easy to get to. I keep my parchment paper for when I'm creating bind runes in Galdrastafir. If I want a good piece of paper to write something on, it comes from this book. It's got amazing paper in it. This is where I keep the runic chakra stones. All my little stones are in here. And this is actually the Tarot Beline. Don't really know why it's actually back here right now. I've been playing with it, using it. I know I promised some of you guys a review of this deck quite a while back, and it is coming. I also keep this little basket of runes back here. Got probably my most used set of runes, both of those guys. And I also keep my old wand back there. Remember from my old video. I love my old wand. Okay, I'm moving on to what's behind here. And I have access. Actually, I can grab this as easy to access. I can literally just reach over everything and pull this out. And I like to have the quick, easy access to this because it is my tarot deck. The deck I made, and I use it very, very often. Ooh, try not to drop it on the floor. But I don't read with this deck for anybody else. It's only for me, so I keep it on my altar in a pretty box. That sits on top of this box that I have back there, and this is a box that I keep fortune-telling decks in. I am not going to go through that right now, actually, because I just filmed a video showing you guys all of my fortune-telling decks, and it was really fun. If it's not up already, it will be up very soon. And then back here, I'm going to slide this stuff over. I have a couple more baskets. And this is really just where I keep some extra candles, tea lights. And then this is sort of an all-purpose storage herbal basket at the moment. It looks like that right now. There is just some overflow. Overflow of blue vervain and mullein leaf. There's some empty bottles, more mullein. I love that herb, you guys. It's another really, really good herb. Some empty bottles. Oh, this candle. I need to burn this candle. It smells amazing. But that lives back there. And then the last of the bits and bobs that are back here, you see that? It's kind of just some random stuff. Oh, I made this yesterday during the solar eclipse. I put some water out in a bottle and let it soak up the entirety of the day's solar eclipse. Yeah, that was fun. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that water, but it is infused with the energy of the eclipse. So fun. And then, oh yeah, like I was saying, like Vlasic, I love pickles. So this is a jar that's been all cleaned out, and eventually I will just spray paint the top to match the other ones. And that's a great little storage jar. I have a storage jar of matches back there. This one's all different feathers, seagull feathers and Artemis feathers. That's pretty much it. There's just a couple empty bottles back there just waiting to be used. And there it is, back to being all set up again. See what I mean about this, the tarot deck box right here? I can just lift it right up and over and have really, really easy access to that. That makes me happy. Okay, moving on to another little storage jam right here. This is a box that I have really, really easy access to and use all the time. I must open this thing like a million times a day. The first thing right on top here is this little bag in which I keep all of the stuff to dry herbs, like my little clothespins and all fun different colors and whatever these ding-a-lingy metal clippy things are called. All stuff like that is in there. And then right on top here too, I have my masking tape for labeling everything. Oh my god, always label everything because if you're anything like me, you'll forget what the fuck it is when it's in there. I keep these books here just to have really easy access to, because I do actually really like to read from the oracle books for these 3 decks. This is the Kyle Gray Keepers. There it is, Keepers of the Light Oracle that I've been enjoying, and my 2 all-time favorites by, what's her name, Cheryl Yambrock Rose. What is written in there is just so uplifting every day. I freaking love it. I have, oh, this is the bag for my Robledo. I'm like, why is that in there? And then all sorts of stuff that I need all the time. This is like handy. I have a couple of Sharpies back here, which I use for writing on my masking tape to label things. I have normally the teas that I am making, or that I've pre-prepared or pre-mixed or whatever, all downstairs in my kitchen. But I do keep a tea bag holder. I have for lighting hard to light candles. Well, what do you call these things? You know, a lighter. I keep my rattle in here, my big rattle. Love the sound of that one. And then a lot of the stuff in here actually is stuff that I will use to take outside. Like if I'm going to go outside and sit or do a ritual or something where I'm going to be outside or not at my altar, basically. I have another offering dish or burning dish or whatever that I take outside. This is the horn that I take outside with me now, and it has a little string attached to it, so I can just wear it like around my body, you know. I have, this is not very sacred, but this is like from Target. I just love the way this stuff smells. It smells amazing. Sea salt vanilla. That's what I was burning up top before in my oil burner. I have some plastic gloves in here. Some of the herbs I handle, I don't really want to touch. An extra pen. Some I don't really know why this is in here actually. Dried corn and some like wheat wrapping. I use it to wrap stuff. This is empty right now. I have to clean this out. This is one of the things I'm gonna put some of the salves that I'm gonna make down the line in. Nice little tin from a dead candle. I have another bag of crystals. I'm not gonna go through all that. I have some twine for use in different spells and magic and stuff. Red and black and white. I have some more tea lights or tea light holders here. I really like those guys. What else is in here? Lastly, it is, I think I showed you guys this in my last video actually too. It's like a colored pencils and notebook kind of thing for drawing things in. I've been doing my sacred geometry stuff in that notebook lately. That's been fun. And then I also just have this I'll take with me when I go outside actually too. A little figure pendant. And then over here, this is sort of altar space too, I guess. That's me attempting to grow some plants but failing miserably. And then the statue right here I have in the corner down here is beautiful stone sculpture. Can you see her face? There's the very serene face of a woman or a goddess. And I love her sitting here and calming and protecting all the work that goes on here. And lastly, show you guys what is really the easiest storage things for me to get to. I have all these little boxes down here that have stuff that I use constantly in them. So this is like kind of my herby one. Just some of the tools for working with my herbs. I have like a knife in there. I have a funnel. This is one of those tea strainer things. Like that. I have a million of those. Little sachets. I have, this is not marijuana, I swear. It's actually mugwort and mullein mix for smoking or vaping. I have some extra cork jars kind of things. These are toothpicks they just come in handy. I have a little scooper for scooping out some of the herbs here. These are some more empty tins that will be filled when I make some more ointments. I had to throw out like almost everything I had when I moved. Some of it was just getting old. This is also where I keep more essential oils. And then these are some empty, like I had the sage spray in. These are just like empty spray bottles that I'll make some more fun stuff with, or put some more fun stuff into. There's a knife, there's an herb grinder here for grinding things. I have a few incense burners in there. I started collecting apple seeds for something. That'll come in handy for something. Anyway, that's what's in here. Next up is this little red velvety box guy. And here is some extra cone incense, some extra incense matches, you know, I love those things, and a whole bunch of different types of smudge sticks. Oh, that box smells so good. Nextly is not a word, but this is a box that I love. It's really fun. It's cloths. It's a box of kind of spread cloths, really. Look at this one. This is one that Ephraim sent me. How beautiful is this? Made by hand. Isn't that beautiful? But yeah, it's like spread cloths, reading cloths. Most of them are like old napkins, and this is the one that came with this little holler tarot I have in here. So that's spread cloths, and then this guy over here, a fun little box that has some more fortune telling decks in it right now. Like I said, I have a whole video coming up soon about those goodies. And then I have one more little box shoved back here. That is where I keep all my tarot deck decorating paraphernalia. All different bags actually too are in here. Stuff for, like, this won't fit a tarot deck obviously. Little bags for crystals or herbs or sachets or whatever. And all my little tokens and pendants and things that will eventually make their way onto a tarot deck bag. The only other thing I have down here, actually I'm not even going to pull it out, but down here in the corner I have my big leather folder, and it has all sorts of paperwork that I like to keep handy, books that I've printed out, and passages and things like that. Yeah, so it'll look a little something like that when I put a typical spread cloth down anyway for like a daily draw, you know? Take your deck, whatever you're using, and, you know, do your thing. Look at that, 5 of Wands upright, force or strength reversed, and your 4 of Swords reversed. Well, that's kind of cute too. If this were like a real reading, it'd be saying something lovely, like kind of not pay attention to yourself, but use this excess of vitality to spend it on yourself, really. Oh, I like that. Anyway, that's what a daily draw might look like. Alright guys, thank you for taking this little tour of my witchy wonderland with me. I'll see y'all again real soon. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.